So I'm going to start with a quote by Audre Lorde to kind of moisten our hearts. I want to live the rest of my life, however long or short, with as much sweetness as I can decently manage, loving all the people I love and doing as much as I can of the work I still have to do. I'm going to write fire until it comes out of my eyes, ears, and nose holes everywhere until it's every breath I breathe. So I'm going to talk a bit about breathing. And when I talk about breathing in and out of the heart, the tradition that I'm drawing on is based on the notion or the belief that the breath is strengthening and nourishing and can connect you energetically to many beings as a result. So if you have faith, it could be an idea of connecting to something bigger than you spiritually, or it could be the idea of connecting to the community that cares about you, or it could be the idea of connecting to ancestors and those who have come before you. It can be the idea of connecting to a life force through breath and through heart. And sometimes when we think that breathing from the heart, we sometimes believe that that's going to make us more vulnerable. And I want to be really clear before we set up this practice that this intention here today, and the research supports us with this, that using the imagery of breathing in and out of our heart actually stabilizes our nervous system and activates the physiology of compassion. It's grounded and stable and open to connecting. And sometimes this is described as strong back, open heart, or strong back, warm heart. Okay, so let's get started. So find your comfortable seat, feel the support of the chair beneath you. And let's begin arriving into this moment with a deep breath in, bringing our shoulders up. And as we exhale, allowing them to soften in the back. Inhaling and exhaling. And drop your gaze or close your eyes as is comfortable. And sit and know you're sitting. And I'd like you to think about someone that you want to send compassion to. And imagine the breath is a vehicle. And that this practice is taught to help those who need grounding or stability in the face of suffering, perhaps feeling overwhelmed with empathic distress, or people who are struggling with fear or isolation, which many of us have experienced over this past year, or wanting to be with a cherished or loved one, but feeling separated. Knowing that this practice, in this moment, you can really choose to connect to your positive motivation to love and care, and by imagining your breath as a vehicle of this love and support. And this helps actually not only with the idea, but it also engages systems of your brain and systems of your body and gives you a felt sense of courage and connection. So that the idea of a practice is when you actually do a practice, all sorts of things emerge. So now in sitting in this dignified posture of compassion, lifting your shoulders once again, and as they settle in your back, imagine that your heart is floating, feeling a sense of openness and support. Now notice as you breathe in, there's a natural quality of expansion. And when you breathe out, the expansion dissolves. Let yourself receive the breath and release the breath. And take your heart, your hand, and place it around your physical heart to feel the support of the breath and the heart center. With the inhalation, you feel the subtle expansion around your heart. This is happening as your lungs expand. And sensing that expansion dissolving as you breathe out. This is actually where the breath resides. It lives around the heart. And now, returning your hands back to your lap or by your side, imagine that you could take breaths directly to the center of your heart, as though your nostrils were on your chest, and invite this nourishing, energizing breath into your heart. Imagine breathing into your heart and breathing out from your heart, and connecting to your own compassionate motivation and your own strong heart. Now imagine you'd like to send some love or support to an individual, or maybe a group of people who are suffering in a particular way, and that you bring them to mind and to heart, noticing the suffering and allowing anything to arise, acknowledging your desire to send them love, ease, strength, or peace. Imagine that your breath is a vehicle or an offering. And as you breathe out, imagine sending strength, hope, love, or ease in your own words. Or I will offer a classic phrase: may you be seen. May you be heard. May you be cared for with compassion and love. Or sometimes you might simply say, know that you are not alone. Or I love you. And imagine that you could receive your out breath. They can receive your out breath. Groups of people in need can receive your out breath. And imagine where you're sending this, that these are receiving this, breathing it in, and it brings strength or hope or comfort. And know that through the breath, you are connected. Now come back into the room together and taking a moment to simply feel your body and your breath. And if your eyes have been closed, at your own pace and as you're ready, you can open them, and maybe regrounding in the hands or the support of the chair or your belly or your heart. And also maybe looking at what is around you in your own space, and perhaps also what is around you in the virtual space together. Okay. So that was just a heart practice that we explored together. And now I'm going to talk about, as we've moistened our hearts and we've practiced this heart practice, I'm going to talk about self-compassion. And I'll share some slides with you. So many of us have a lot of conditioning about and challenges with practicing self-compassion. And these beliefs have been entrained perhaps by our from a variety of sources. The media, are we worthy? Is self-compassion, it will make us weak. It'll make us lazy. We have to be self-critical to get anything accomplished. So there's a lot of false ideas or myths about self-compassion. And self-compassion, actually, the science has demonstrated that it increases our capacity to sustain behavior change. And also, it makes us more accountable to that change plan. Some people think of it as selfish, like I'm not as deserving as others. And this is also a myth. You are no less or more deserving as a human than another being. We are all deserving of inner or self-compassion. And indeed, the more we strengthen that practice or these circuits of self-compassion, the more we are aware of our own suffering and we have approaches to ease the suffering, the more we're able to actually address the suffering in the world. So we don't, and this is Kristen Neff and Chris Germer's definition, which I think is beautiful, and they developed this practice of mindful self-compassion, which has now been studied for many decades. It's not that we're giving ourselves compassion in an indulgent way, we give it because we are suffering. So it's not to feel better, but because we already feel bad. And this self-compassion can help to build the motivation, confidence, courage, and deeper understanding to promote health span or well-being. Any questions or comments about this particular idea that many of us have been conditioned that self-compassion is indulgent or selfish? Okay, well, I'll continue then. All right. So I think this is especially important. So I'm a cognitive neurologist and I direct the Center for Healthy Aging, as Mary said. And, you know, for all of us as humans, it's very hard to make changes because we have a lot of habits, and it's more effortful to make positive change. And so we know, as I said, that if we cultivate self-compassion when we need to begin again, that supports the likelihood that we can stay motivated for this change, to implement these healthy behaviors, for example, around Mediterranean diet or around consistent exercise or around practices that cultivate stress resilience, for example. So I just, you know, show these to remind us that, and this is JFK, physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it's also the basis of a dynamic and creative intellectual activity. And so this, you know, what's the type of exercise people are ought to do? It's the one that brings joy and that you're going to do. It can also help to grow brain areas, the hippocampus in particular. It releases this growth hormone called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and yet it's very hard to be consistent about exercise. And having self-compassion in these moments when we're working our growth edge actually supports that behavior change. So it's really a key component of healthy living. So Kristen Neff broke down in her studies in science really these 3 steps in order to cultivate self-compassion. And one is to develop a relationship with yourself that is supportive. And many of us, and this may resonate for care partners and for all of us, is, you know, because we're all trying to take care of each other and ourselves, is, are we kinder towards others than we are towards ourselves? And can we notice that inner voice, that inner critic, befriend the inner critic and also develop an inner coach to encourage us and support us. So to really have that self-kindness or inner mentor, so we can be kind towards ourselves in the way that we would refer to a friend. For example, if a friend phoned up and was disappointed with something that she had done or hadn't done, for example. And then to really see ourselves in the broader context of a common humanity, that, you know, everybody's going to make mistakes, everybody can fall and begin again, everybody has hardships, everybody has failures, and we are not alone in that experience. So we are part of a broader common humanity. And then also to really cultivate that present moment awareness with curiosity and with equanimity. So these are the sort of three components in order to begin to work with self-compassion. Sorry. So, and you know, there can be some challenges with the practice in the beginning, because when we when we start with the habit of self-compassion, and we give ourselves what we need moment to moment, we can feel other experiences. For example, so when we give ourselves unconditional love, we can discover the conditions under which we were not loved. Or love can reveal things that are unlike itself. And so in the practice, it can both feel good and challenging. So this is just kind of a nice cartoon about how we can start to be kinder towards ourselves. And more research has demonstrated that self-compassion unlocks the door to, you know, a happier life. It's a source of strength and stress resilience. We can acknowledge our suffering without catastrophizing. And in doing so, we can have a more of a connection. We're not alone in this pain. And so in acknowledging our suffering, it can actually, as I say, give more of a sense of compassion or the empathy for others' suffering. And so as we're caring towards ourselves, we can also ripple that out and care towards others. And so it's this practice is really planting seeds of connection by offering that self-kindness. And so here I'll just show, there's a new book out by Kristen Neff called Fierce Self-Compassion. And as far as care partners, 2 out of 3 of care partners are women, and how women can harness kindness to speak up, claim their power, and really to thrive. And there are other amazing books that she has co-authored with Chris Germer around. This is a workbook that you can work at your own pace. There's a lot of questions, and then here's sort of an idea of an 8-week course that they have developed together around the practices. And then here's just links to, you can assess how self-compassionate you are, and it will give you the domains that you're doing well in, and then of the 3 domains I mentioned, and then the domains where there are opportunities to continue to practice, for example. And then there are also guided meditations. And so